Hello, good evening. Welcome to Mindful Mondays. I'm Dr. Joanna Jabi Herrera from We Thrive, and I'm happy to be here with you this afternoon. It's Miss Tucci Reyes's Monday, but I'm substituting for her, so you'll be seeing Miss Tucci again in the next coming weeks. We have been introducing mindfulness to you. And one of the ways in which we've described mindfulness is that it's a gap. It's the gap between the stimulus and the response. So the stimulus could be an event that's happening, an event that has occurred that maybe triggers an emotional reaction in us, triggers anxiety, triggers anger, irritability, or sadness. And the stimulus can also be internal. The stimulus can come from within us. Sometimes the way we perceive reality, the way we attribute meaning to our experiences. Sometimes we have a storyline that might not be accurate to the reality, but it's a storyline that somehow generates emotions for us. So we might have a storyline about having been judged or being a victim, or we might have a storyline that that the person is that there's another person that's thinking about us in a negative way. May or may not be true, but our thoughts, the thoughts that we generate about the event and how we interpret the event can can trigger an emotional reaction within us. So mindfulness is the gap that creates a space between the stimulus and our response. It gives us the time to slow down, to really look deeply into the situation or the event or the thoughts we're having, so that instead of jumping in and acting on impulse or on our urge, which may sometimes and often, if we're not thinking about it, it can be unskillful or unwise or hurtful. Mindfulness gives us the space to consider our response so that we can act skillfully and wisely. I wanted to share how our feelings can be triggered by these external and internal events, and the ways in which we handle these feelings can make a huge difference between being able to cope with emotions in a resilient way, or getting stuck in the emotion. So mindfulness allows us to see our emotions, our thoughts as they are. It makes the invisible visible. And when we can see our emotions and we can see our inner reality much more clearly, we can be in a better place to turn to our experience, our inner experience, with acceptance. So, with mindfulness and acceptance, we can achieve a more balanced response to what's happening around us or within us. When we're not in this balance zone, we might, sometimes suppress our emotions. And I'm sure we experience that sometimes. So instead of allowing our emotions to become visible to us, we might push them away, we might disconnect or deny our emotions. And this suppression can cause a lot of internal pressure. that, can really reside or get stored in our bodies. This is tension that can really get stored in our tissues. The issues are in the tissues, right? And at some point, when we're unable to manage this suppression, eventually it gives way to a fight response, a spilling out. And that spill out can be hurtful to our relationships, can be hurtful to the people we love and the people who are, who surround us. We can end up blaming others, amplifying the feelings or the negative event. We can also end up catastrophizing. So, in our mindfulness practice today, we are going to learn how to watch the dials on our dashboard. So, with mindfulness, we will learn to observe without judgment, but with curiosity and kindness what's happening in our bodies, what we're feeling, and what stories we're telling ourselves, what thoughts, assumptions, rationalizations are going through our head that can shape or construct the reality that we're experiencing. Okay, so this is just going to be a short practice, but this is a practice that we can use in everyday life to create the gap that gives space to wisdom and allows us the inner freedom to respond wisely and skillfully. So let's start by allowing ourselves to enjoy some soothing breaths. Feeling our feet touching the ground, feeling our backs straight, but our shoulders and our abdomen relaxed. Sitting like a mountain, solid yet with our hearts open. Closing your eyes or not, whatever we feel is safe. And allowing our soothing breaths to just ebb and flow, allowing our awareness, our attention to come home to this present moment. Let's give ourselves a few more soothing breaths to arrive in the moment, this moment, just as it is. For our 3 dial check-in, I invite you to think of an event that has occurred recently, perhaps a stressful or a challenging event, not the most stressful or not the most difficult, something moderately stressful, maybe a 5 or a 4 or a 6 out of 10. And just pause to notice and to recall this experience. Maybe it's trying to rush something, rush a task. Maybe you're trying to beat a deadline and it was stressful. Whatever that event is, just calling it into mind. The first dial that we're going to watch is the dial of our body sensations. So simply notice what body sensations are coming up for you as you recall this event, this moderately stressful event, being present to your body, notice if there are any sensations of tightness or tingling or pain or tension anywhere in the body. Is there tightness around the chest? Around the shoulders? In the lower back? Maybe tension around the area of the forehead, the temples, the jaw. Just noticing how this stressful event was felt by your body. Not changing or fixing anything, but allowing our gentle, kind, compassionate awareness to simply notice our experience and to accept it as it is. Allowing and letting things be just as they are. The next dial we're going to watch is the dial of our feelings or our emotions. How did this event or situation feel to you? Did it make you feel irritable or annoyed? Did you feel apprehensive or anxious? Did it make you feel angry? Did this stressful event cause hurt or pain? Sometimes we experience a mix of feelings, so allowing the feelings to be as they are and allowing different feelings to sit together. And as we watch the dial of our emotions, not changing or pushing away anything, but simply saying hello. Hello to our anger. Hello to feeling annoyed. Hello, sadness. Hello, fear. Meeting our emotions with acceptance and compassion. Lastly, we watch the dial of our thoughts. What, what story did we tell ourselves when we experienced this stressful event? Did we hear ourselves saying, I should have done better. I always make mistakes. I should have known what to do. What will they think of me? They will think I'm so inadequate. I'm so worthless. Whatever those thoughts or storylines are, allowing ourselves to notice. Notice what we tell ourselves. Notice the assumptions that we make about our experiences and how we construct our reality. Again, we're not pushing these thoughts away, we're not changing them, but with awareness, we can be more present to what is actually happening within us. Watching the weather, allowing ourselves to be kind, compassionate observers of our experience. Let's go back to our soothing breaths. Let's thank ourselves for this moment of being able to stop, to pause, to look deeply. And from this place, act and choose with freedom. So that is our watching the dials on our dashboard practice. It's a mindfulness practice that allows us to observe our body sensations, our feelings, our thoughts, and the stories that we tell ourselves. I hope this is helpful. This is something that you can use every day when you find yourself having a strong reaction to an experience or to a situation. Pause. Instead of reacting, watch the dials on your dashboard. And from this place, proceed wisely. Thank you so much for joining us here in Mindful Mondays at We Thrive. And we have a mindfulness group program coming up. It's Mindful Self-Compassion. And you can find more information about this intensive mindfulness training program on our Instagram, We Thrive Inc., also on our Facebook page, We Thrive Inc. And we thank you for joining us. And we hope that this practice has been helpful, and we hope it will be helpful for you as you journey into mindfulness in everyday life. Thank you so much, and be safe. See you next week.